Hi, I'm Sonya White Jaguar. Welcome to White Jaguar Weekend Read, my weekly audiobook series. Today I'm reading my free book, Writing Alan Rickman's Autobiography, a fan fiction romance. Chapter 5, Celebrity Sighting. Without a word, Alan went to the kitchen and refilled our glasses of gin and tonic. As he handed mine to me, he said, "Let's go out to the terrace." I hadn't been on the terrace at dusk before. When he opened the sliding glass doors, a refreshing warm breeze brushed against my face. Alan guided me to the iron railing which overlooked the quiet street and neighboring historic buildings. The view was gorgeous from the 7th floor. A few stars were visible in the pink and blue sky. As we gazed out over the railing, Alan said, "I told you when I met you that I'm a longtime fan of your work. What I didn't tell you, of course, was how I felt about you." After a long pause, he continued, "Revealing this to you isn't easy. Tell me if it isn't the right thing to do." I wanted to reassure him that he'd done nothing wrong, so I said, "I'm glad you've told me." Then a flurry of camera flashes from below distracted us. Alan gasped and jumped back from the railing. Scanning the sidewalk, I spotted a group of people strolling by, pointing at various buildings and taking photos. "They're not taking pictures of us," I reassured Alan. "I don't think they're paparazzi." He returned to my side and observed the passers-by. "Maybe tourists," I said, "or students of architecture? What do you think?" "This late in the evening? Probably tourists." He heaved a sigh of relief. "Nothing like that has ever happened here before. For the most part, I've learned not to let the cameras bother me when I'm out in public. I'm sure you already know that a celebrity sighting is a prize worth capturing. Sometimes it makes me feel like an animal at the zoo. All I want to do is hide in the corner of my cage." Motioning toward the jacuzzi, he said, "Let's dip our feet in the water." After setting our drinks beside the hot tub, we removed our shoes and climbed the steps of the platform. Alan turned on the jets after we slipped our feet into the water. He handed my drink back to me as he said, "Sometimes I feel as though my private life is anything but private. I wanted you to understand that first, and a lot of other things, before I told you how I felt about you. Being with me could bring you unwanted attention from every direction, and that could make things difficult for you. And trying to write a book together in the midst of all that." "Yes, you're right. The circumstances are complicated," I acknowledged. "I'm sorry to put you in this situation. Do you hate me?" I chuckled. "No, of course not." His eyes held my gaze. "Can we start again?" "Yes," I replied with a smile. "I would like that." He clasped my hand and gently pressed my fingers to his lips. Energy ran down my arms, through my torso, all the way to my feet, and my toes tingled. Then something came over me that I hadn't felt in a long time. Joy. Afterward, he said, "I've wanted to do that for a very long time. Since I read your first novel." "Really?" I asked. "Yes." He continued to hold my hand. "That's why I wanted you to write my book. I was hoping you'd say yes. Not just to the book, but, well, you know. That's why I'm having a hard time with the book. My heart is somewhere else. I'm not just trying to put together the pieces of my life and restructure it into a story. I'm trying to restructure my life. I'm looking for comfort and compassion and romance. You're the kind of person I'd like to explore that with, if you're interested." Years in and out of relationships had resulted only in disappointment and no marriage proposals, so I'd grown weary of dating. It had been over a year since my breakup with the artist, and I had dated no one else since. With my romance writing career now hanging in the balance, I'd put my romantic life on hold. "I'll be honest with you," I said, which I thought was only fair. "I wasn't expecting this. You need to understand that relationships are a sore spot for me. There's a reason I'm not married. I've been burned many times in the past." That must sound funny coming from a romance author who specializes in producing nothing but happily ever afters. Alan squeezed my hand and said, "I understand completely. Everyone is multifaceted, and sometimes we're walking contradictions. That's why I think the theater and writing in general are so important. They give us a way to explore what it is to be a human being and try to understand ourselves better. There's no right or wrong in that. Throughout my life, I've been busy traveling and working and putting others first. You understand now some of the complexities I deal with and the sacrifices I've made. I think you're a lovely person, and I'm only asking you to give this a chance. Was I concerned that a relationship could derail the work on Alan's book? Was I concerned about his position as a movie star and how everything that went along with that could upend my life? And was I concerned that he could burn me like all the men I'd dated before him? My answer to all of those questions was yes. I watched the waves as I dangled my feet back and forth under the water. The warmth soothed my skin, even if it didn't soothe my heart. Despite my misgivings, Alan's sensitivity and frankness touched my heart. He was a man with soul. I squeezed his hand in return as I said, I'm willing to give it a chance. Join me next week for Chapter 6, Boudoir Art. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, so you'll be notified when the next video is posted. You can also sign up for my newsletter on my website, sonyawhitejaguar.com, and get notified that way. I send out newsletters twice a month. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next week.